There's this new show out that took the entire anime community by storm. No, not Oshinoko. That's another one that took the whole anime community by storm. I'm talking about Hell's Paradise. Entire community. Freaking storm. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. But I think Hell's Paradise is one of the sleeper hits. Now, Hell's Paradise has something that I truly love and that every fantasy battle shonen needs to have. A power system. Very often you have a show with generic magic powers and the power system isn't exactly all that thought out. And I am so glad that Hell's Paradise is not that case. Today, we will be delving deeper into the power system of Hell's Paradise because as somewhat of a power system aficionado, I just love a good, hard, laid out goddamn power system. And apparently that's what Hell's Paradise's power system actually is. This fellow by the name of the Weeb Commander broke down the power system of Hell's Paradise really well, and because I am not fluent in the manga, I in fact just started the anime and I'm waiting to know if I should react to the next one on stream with you guys. If my reaction to episode 1, which is already on Nuxanor by the way, you should definitely check it out, hit 6,666 likes, I will watch more of them on stream. Otherwise, I'm just gonna watch it myself, and you're lost, and yeah, I may be shadow banned, and yeah, I may have a strike right now that's hiding my content, but that sucks, and it's your job to leave the likes. It's not my job to sit here and indulge you when you fail miserably at the tasks at hand. But for now, we're doing a bit of a deep dive into the power system of Hell's Paradise. Weeb Commander says that, well, it's one of the best power systems ever. Let's just jump right into it. Remember to subscribe, god damn it. I appreciate you greatly. The sub button. Just donk it, please. The best new power system explained?
So it's official, with the release of the first couple of episodes of Hell's Paradise.
Whoa. Okay, I don't know this man, and I don't wanna start beef, Mr. Weeb Commander, but you move your head a lot in the first second of the video. Look how much he moves his head.
So it's official, with the release of the first couple of episodes of Hell's Paradise.
That said, he looks like an absolute Giga Chad. His necklace is badass. Glasses are cool. Sheesh.
All three of the Dark Trio manga are officially in their anime era. And Hell's Paradise is not only my favorite out of the three, but also probably the longest out of the three.
Nick, it's only 127 chapters, and JJK is well over 200.
Sit down and read a chapter of Hell's Paradise, you'll realize it's longer than JJK. And that means we got Hell's Paradise for probably the next 6 to 10 years. Which means you're gonna get to see this face talking about it a whole lot. Especially because Hell's Paradise, while my favorite manga, is also very confusing. Now,
hold up, it's your favorite manga? Listen, I'm just calling it right here. No matter what you say, it will not beat JoJo's or Hunter x Hunter. Those are the top two power systems. I don't think there will ever be an anime to top those two power systems.
Now, it's not as confusing as JJK, but it's not nearly as straightforward as Chainsaw Man. And while having a basic understanding of Buddhism or Taoism does certainly make understanding Hell's Paradise a lot easier, probably the most complicated thing—
yeah, I don't know jack shit about Buddhism or Taoism. That's wild.
About Hell's Paradise is its incredibly rich and well thought out power system. It's a power system that goes by the name of Tao. See, Tao is what happens when you take all the best parts of chakra and Nen and make them slightly religious as the energy system.
Okay, all right. I'm not against a religious power system. I think that's badass, actually.
Of Tao is based off of Taoist principles. Now, for those of you who aren't ancient Asian theologists, Taoism—
I'm not an ancient Asian theologist. Please, Mr. Weeb Commander, teach me.
—is an ancient Chinese religion that is usually associated with Buddhism, but is very unique in its own right. The reason it's usually associated with Buddhism is because it preaches unity with the universe, which is why Tao as a power system is very similar to chakra and Nen, where it exists in every living being. And
don't explain that like it's some novel concept. That's every power system. Like every other power system in the history of anime. Okay.
Maximizing one's own Tao potential is learning how to tap into the energy around them. But there is a lot, and I mean a lot more to Tao than simply just that. Which is why today you should sit back, relax, and bust out those notebooks, because today we're doing a comprehensive look at Tao and its influences. Today we're going to be answering questions like, what can you do with Tao? How do you master Tao? What are the principles of Tao? And what is a Tao element? How do Tao elements
Take a shot every time this guy says Tao. You will be dead when you get halfway through the video.
And what does all of this have to do with yin and yang? But before we answer any of those questions, guys, please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, hit that noti bell. And if you like spiritual conversations based around ancient religions, then you're probably gonna hate my new anime podcast that I'm doing with Danny Mata, where we break down everything that happened.
He did a podcast episode about Seth the Programmer drama. No! And it's his most popular episode! No! Oh, no!
Anime this week. It's available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But If you like anime, then you're gonna love it. So Tao, is it like chakra?
That was a long plug.
Nen, or is it like cursed energy, or is it like any other power system we've ever seen? And while the idea of a power system being an energy that runs through all living things is not necessarily new to anime.
Thank you for saying that.
Tao approaches this ideology in a very new and interesting way,
Right.
operating in a practical sense like Nen, but also tying its roots to religion like chakra and chi. But in order to give you the best possible understanding of what Tao is, we're gonna have to start this video off in the way that we tend to start these videos off, by answering the easy questions. The first of which,
he's 3 minutes in and he's talking about how he's gonna start the video off.
being, what is Tao? Well, Tao in its most simple sense is a life force energy that exists in all living and non-living things. This phone, this notebook, this YouTuber all have Tao. This energy can be manifested and wielded to increase any kind of ability you could dream of.
Okay, all right. I think I know where he's already going with this. There's this very famous concept, very related to a lot of Hinduism. A lot of Hinduism and Buddhism actually both talk about panpsychism, how everything in existence is God, basically. Everything is like a piece of God. Therefore, anything, whether it's alive or dead, it's all part of God. So you can tap into it somehow.
Make you faster, can make you stronger, can conceal your presence, it can light you on fire. And once somebody has truly mastered Tao, they acquire the powers of God. But that's kind of an
this is what I just said!
incredibly wide berth explanation. So let's dive a little bit deeper into Tao. See, like we've already covered, Tao is the life force energy of all living and non-living things. But let's focus on that word, life force. See, think of your Tao like a ticking meter of how much life you have left to live. Like that really bad Justin Timberlake movie. Was it called Time? Everything
That was a really bad movie.
that you do, thinking, breathing, eating, all consumes Tao. Now, before you stop breathing or thinking or moving, Tao can be generated. Specifically, Tao is generated in the tanden. See, the tanden is a part of your body directly below your navel. This is also
Bro, right in the womb tattoo.
a central point that all of the Tao in your body flows through. Therefore, for a Tao user, the tanden is basically like their heart. Those who have their tendons slashed will die, as not only will they be able to generate
Bro, what? Is it just another weak point?
more Tao, they won't be able to circulate their Tao.
Okay.
In life, when it comes to living beings, happens when your body runs out of Tao. See, the Tao of a living being will begin to disintegrate when their body is on the verge of death. And when their Tao completely vanishes, the body will die. What's interesting about this, though, is that even though technically the living Tao inside that person's body is gone, their body will still contain Tao.
Because
But
everything
only in
has
the
Tao.
capacity that a rock or a tree contains Tao, implying that on a spiritual level, that dead body has become part of nature. Now, that is the most Spark Notes of all Spark Notes version of what Tao is. If you were to peel back even one more layer
But how does that become a power system, though? Okay, I get it's in everything, all right? Chi, right? Whatever, who cares?
of the onion, it would bring you to the yin-yang aspect of Tao, as the yin-yang aspect of Tao is its main component. See, earlier when I told you that Tao was created in your tanden, what I didn't tell you is that that's only under specific circumstances. See, Tao is only manifested when the Tao user is following the Buddhist middle way. Do any of my theologians want to tell the class what that means? No, I have to do it.
I have no
The
idea.
middle way is one of the major
Teach me.
aspects of the Dharma in Buddhism. What the middle way refers to in Buddhism is living a life not filled with extremes. That is to say that the middle way of Buddhism ignores things like
Anyone on Twitter does not live the middle way of Buddhism. Got it.
denial, but it also ignores things like self-indulgence. It ignores things like eternalism, but also ignores things like annihilationism. This middle way of Buddhism asks that you don't take too much from life, but you also don't give out too much of yourself. You are to exist in harmony with the things around you, making sure you don't live in abject poverty, but also making sure that you don't live as a billionaire. As a Buddhist with nothing to give to the world can't help the world around them, while a Buddhist who hoards too much for themselves isn't sharing with those around them. And this is the key principle of
So centrism, basically. Basically, if you're far right or far left, Buddha is gonna bitch slap you.
Tao. Except in Tao, the middle way is more about acceptance of oneself. The middle way, as it regards to Tao, is about accepting your strengths and your weaknesses.
Accepting yourself is how you regenerate Tao? That's interesting. That's something new. I feel like we haven't really seen that exactly. You get similar concepts, but if that's just the case, then you can get some asshole that accepts that he's an asshole and he becomes overpowered. There has to be some other way to become stronger than just accepting yourself.
Identifying and loving the things about yourself that make you strong, but also identifying and loving the things about yourself that make you weak. In the case of Gabimaro, his training as a shinobi makes him strong, but his love for his wife makes him weak. It's not—
Whoa! Did this man just say you love a woman, you get weak? Damn, son, you just freaking nailed it, bro. You just eviscerated everyone.
Accepts and embraces both parts of himself that he can begin to make Tao at his highest level.
Okay, so hold on. So until this point in episode 1, where he didn't admit to himself that his love for his wife made him weak, because obviously women make you weak. That's just basic women stuff, 101, clearly. He didn't accept that, but he was still strong in the first episode. So now that he accepted that, he's just on a path to become way, way stronger. So what you're saying is, if you don't nut, you gain strength.
Now, this applies to more than just your strengths and your weaknesses. You also have to balance your rage and your serenity, your stillness and your emotion, the dark inside of you with the light. And the further that you lean into these individual emotions and feelings and concepts, the stronger your Tao becomes. To use Gabimaru as another example here, when he feels more love for Yui, his Tao spikes. Yui is Gabimaru's wife. Now, the reason that this spikes Gabimaru's Tao is because there's a balance between how much he loves Yui and how much he misses being by her side. And since how much he wants to be back by Yui's side is a strength that's pushing him forward, while his love for her is technically a weakness, that is a yin-yang thing that spikes his Tao.
That's interesting, I guess. It's interesting, but so what if he didn't have a weakness? Now that's a cringe thing to say. But what if he didn't really have a weakness, huh? Well, what if he was just freaking OP? What if he didn't have a woman to weaken him?
Sakiri is also an incredible example of this, as Sakiri knows that her training as an Asaimon makes her one of the strongest Asaimon ever, but her dislike of harming people and her unsure self is a weakness. Once Sakiri was able to accept both of these parts of herself, she became one of the strongest characters in the manga. Life and death also spike Tao. That is to say that one on the brink of death fighting to stay alive has a massive spike to their Tao. And because humans are emotional—
Wait, why? You didn't explain that part. Why?
And therefore able to spike their Tao whenever they feel these emotions, their Tao—
Wait, how does your Tao spike because of emotions? How does that make a yin-yang? Thought it was about accepting yourself.
Because humans are emotional and therefore able to spike their Tao whenever they feel these emotions, their Tao is considered to be of the highest quality.
Emotion spike, that doesn't fit into the power system that you're explaining. Maybe it makes sense and I just didn't get it. That is the key point. I like power systems when emotions make you stronger, okay? I think that's cool. You get emotional, you get an adrenaline boost, and it spikes your energy for whatever reason. See, Nen did it right. The fact that Gon was willing to sacrifice his life, that was the condition he gave in order to unlock his crazy adult form thing versus Pito. The fact that Kurapika was willing to use his power only on spiders, that's what made his attack so much more powerful for spiders. The conditional aspect of Nen fits so well and ties so well into the emotional aspect of Nen because it's when you're emotional that you'll make a more powerful condition. That is great power system. Something like this is really cool, okay? I like the concept, the yin-yang thing. You find a balance within yourself, you all that, and therefore you can become stronger. I'm totally cool with that, all right? Love that. That's dope. But why does an emotional spike it? Why do emotional moments actually spike it? Having emotions is weakness, and so when you get emotional, you become stronger, huh? But you're not accepting your emotions. Like, I feel like it's missing flavor. It's missing flavor. I'm missing something here.
Which is why Lord Tenzin, who are inherently non-emotional, use them to make Tan, as Lord Tenzin aren't able to go through these emotional spikes that spike their Tao. Now that we have that covered, we should talk about the elements of Tao, of which there is 5. Wood, fire, earth, metal, water. Now,
that is such a stupid choice of 5. Come on, man. Those are Chinese elements? Oh, damn. I just look like an idiot now, I guess. All right.
Now, while the elemental part of this might sound similar to chakra, it actually operates closer to Nen, as the 5 elements exist in a circle.
And they just ripped off the Nen idea that each one, the 2 that's closest to that one, it becomes stronger.
The positions in this circle are very important, as the circle travels clockwise. And in order to explain this in the best possible way, let's take water, for example. See, water exists, I guess, right here. You're probably looking at a picture of it right now through the beauty of editing. If Cody couldn't find an English version of this, water is the blue one. The element clockwise of water is wood. This means a couple of things. The most important of which is that the water element is beneficial to the wood element. But beneficial in what capacity? How does the water element help the wood element? If water Tao and wood Tao meet each other, do they make a Keke Genkai? Not exactly. See, Tao is largely built around physical contact between 2 Tao users, which would mean that if a Tao user with the water element were to come in physical contact with a Tao user of the wood element, the Tao user of the water element would refill the Tao of the wood user. Now that's
the Jin stuff from Magi. You just explained the same thing that they did in Magi, except so much cooler. There was this dude, his name was Ren Cohen. Absolute mad lad. He had 3 Jins. One of them is a fire djinn, like a magma djinn, okay? And he's spewing lava everywhere, and he gets really, really weak because he uses up all of his lava stuff. Then he switches to his earth djinn. He pulls earth out of the ground until he reaches the core of the planet, and he creates a volcano. And then he goes back into his magma djinn, goes into the magma, and it replenishes his energy. That right there is exactly what you're explaining, except you don't need 2 people. You need 2 people, 1 water Tau guy, boosts earth Tau guy, support unit. I don't know if this is one of the best power systems. It's definitely well thought out, and I will not lie. And I know I'm memeing on the whole balance thing, but I do think the balance concept is a lot cooler than, you know, chakra from Naruto.
Called the cycle of restoration. It works for all 5 elements. Whatever element is clockwise of another element helps the element in front of it. Wood helps fire, fire helps earth, earth helps metal, metal helps water, and water helps wood.
All right, and then there's the super effective star in the center.
Everything in Tao is focused on yin and yang. While there's restorative properties between the elements, there's also hindering properties. And these work
super
a bit
effective
differently.
ones.
Think of these.
They work like Pokemon.
Like
Hey!
matchups, where one element is super
There we
effective against a different element. Now, this doesn't operate through clockwise or counterclockwise, but instead by
It's the
creating
star
a
thingy.
pentagram in the middle of the circle. Or
Yeah.
even simpler terms, if an element skips the one that it restores and goes to the one that the one it restores, that's the element it deters.
That is such a difficult sentence.
Water is effective against fire, earth is effective against water, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
And every
pretty basic,
person,
pretty
through
basic.
either training or birth, is given one of these elements. And this is where Tao separates itself from both Nen and Chakra. As obviously with Chakra, it's kind of like see how many elements you can collect. And with Nen, you're 100% effective at your main category, but 80% effective at the 2 categories closest
Which is really cool.
to your main category. The restoration cycle is referred to as Sosei. Outside of refilling somebody's diminished Tao, it also makes the person who's being restored's Tao significantly stronger. Even those who haven't unlocked or figured out Tao yet,
Dude, so you just have a squad of 5 guys that are just restoring each other constantly and they're just broken AF?
they're
Okay.
in contact with the right kind of person, are able to use Tao
Have 5 people holding hands and they're just like, yeah, the sussy refill movement. Yeah.
somewhat high level. And you don't even necessarily need to make physical contact with somebody to activate Sosei, as you can imbue an item like a weapon with your Tao and give it to somebody you have a favorable connection with.
Let's go, baby. It's the Tau human centipede. I suck your water dick, and then the fire dick sucks my dick, and then that it goes on.
That Tao, once it comes into contact with their own, gives them the Sosei boost. Well, the hindering cycle is referred to as Sokoku. Now, should 2 people with the same element battle, whoever has greater mastery in Tao will be victorious. Now, I did
The one with the better Tau wins. What?
kind of lie when I said there was only 5 types of elemental Tao.
There's also light and shadow Tau. Let's see
There
it.
is a 6th element for Tao that doesn't exist on our perfect little graph, and that Tao type is Flower Tao.
Okay, I was totally off. I was wrong, 100%.
Flower Tao, also known as Plant Tao, offers immortality. Well,
Oh, damn.
in a sense. See, once one acquires Flower
Was that the creepy flower stuff at the end of the first episode? Those people showed up full of covered in flowers.
Tao, they get longevity and regeneration abilities. That is to
pretty
say
cool.
that a Flower Tao user who's able to keep their Tao circuit intact can survive
Oh, so you just stab them in the womb tattoo and then they're dead?
pretty much forever. Before you jump on the Flower Tao train, and you're like,
Oh my god, it's our way to immortality.
unfortunately, it doesn't work for humans.
what I would say.
See, Flower Tao does
So Flower Tao is just Hashirama cells. It's just wood style all over again.
technically give longevity and regeneration to humans. However, there's the added fact that it also makes humans into trees, where the humans who were given Flower Tao begin to bloom flowers.
Yeah, that was the creepy, dude, that is so scary. Holy crap. At the end of the first episode when I saw that, damn, son.
And enter a state of eternal bliss. However, that state of eternal bliss is basically growing flowers out of your body as part of the ground for eternity.
That sounds good to me. Listen, depression, bye-bye, I'll be a flower.
Dead, but you're not really alive. But you got a big old smile on your face.
A win,
So real
that's a
people
win.
who benefit from Flower Tao
That's
are
a
the
win.
Lord Tenzin. But this is because the Lord Tenzin are artificial humans created out of Flower Tao. Now,
Oh, they're wood clones. Bro, they're just wood clones.
humans can maximize the regenerative properties of Flower Tao, as any human who begins to use Flower Tao can have their head cut off or their arms broken off, and they will regrow. And when they regrow these limbs or heads, vines will appear on their body that'll eventually fade. But unfortunately for these humans, even though they have achieved longevity and practical immortality, slowly but surely their body will turn into a tree. Well, in most circumstances, but we'll get to
Or you can just stab them in the womb tattoo and they die.
that later. But if these Lord Tenzin are able to live forever and recover from anything, how do you kill them? Well, this is where the Tanden comes in. So the
The Tanden!
only real chance that any human has at defeating a Lord Tenzin is if they have a favorable element. This is to say that the Lord Tenzin has the
This
water
isn't the
element
power
and the
system
human has
anymore.
the fire element or something like that. With the favorable element matching, the regenerative abilities of the Lord Tenzin will be slow. The wounds they would usually recover from in 1 second if there wasn't a favorable matchup for the humans,
All right,
they
it makes
now
sense,
recover
makes
from
sense.
in 5 or
If you're super effective, you can kill them.
10 seconds, which is big when battling something with technically infinite regeneration. This human with a
pretty
favorable matchup then has to slash the Tanden. Now,
And then you just stab them in the womb tattoo and they die. All right, we're gonna move this to 1.25 times speed.
technically, it doesn't have to be the person with a favorable matchup to slash the Tanden. Anybody with sufficient Tau to cut through it should do. And in some circumstances, the person with a favorable matchup against the Lord Tenzin will simply put their Tau into contact with the Lord Tenzin's Tau to stop their cycle. That is to say, to weaken them and put them at a point where the person with enough Tau to
Makes
cut through
sense,
the
makes
Tanden
sense.
can cut through the Tanden. Now, technically, the regeneration of Flower Tau is not infinite. Remember that Tau is life force, whether that
Okay, so how does Flower Tau fit into it? I feel like it's just a random 6th OP one just for the sake of it. I feel like that doesn't fit so neatly into the power system. Like, even in Hunter x Hunter, Specialist was one of the attributes.
fire, water, metal, or flower Tau, using it is expending your own life force. So every time that a Lord Tenzin is cut, or any user of flower Tau is cut, they have to use some of their Tau, some of their life force to regenerate. And if done improperly, this can destroy the user. It can do something abstract, like
Damn.
take the memories of the user, as their head Tau is now all jumbled. Or it can do something extreme, like age the user, cutting their life force literally. But the Lord Tenzin have a little thing called Tan, which is made essentially from the fermented Tau of humans.
Which is just like a totally new thing
And
introduced.
upon consuming this Tan,
This doesn't even sound like the power system anymore. This is like one of those random filler villains in Naruto that's like, ah, yes, of course, can absorb the power of the stove.
their Tau is refilled, which grants them immortality in the sense of being forever young. Now, the reason that the Lord Tenzin are so powerful in Tau is because they are physical embodiments of the middle way. Lord Tenzin are basically incapable of emotion, but it goes beyond that. The majority of them are immortal, but at the same time, they want to know
bad.
what mortality is like, craving death. And even further than that, all of the Lord
Okay.
Tenzin are genderless, being able to be both a woman or a man. So everything about them
Pretty sure that's not what genderless means.
embodies the middle way, which is why they're so practiced in Tau. But to go one step beyond that, that's also because every single Lord Tenzin has mastered the 5 techniques of immortality. See, there are 5 training methods that allow
Oh my god, there's another part to this whole Tau stuff. 5 more methods. Look, I love complicated power systems, but they all have to fit into one thingy.
you to master Tau. The first of which is Doi, which involves physical exercise to increase your Tau
Oh, these are just methods on how to increase you.
circulation. The second is Taisoku, which involves breathing techniques. The third is Shoitsu, which involves meditation. And the fourth is Shuten, which involves becoming akin to the travel of Tau through your body and organs. And the fifth
Just freaking meditating and working out. That's it.
and final exercise is Bochu Jutsu. See, Bochu Jutsu requires sexual intimacy with somebody of the opposite chi. Now, this can mean
Whoa, 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 whoa. It's a pretty homophobic power system you got there. Well, what about my same chi sex? That's not how that sounds right. Same chi marriage? Where's my same chi marriage at, gamers? Damn, that's wild, bro.
a lot of things. It could mean sexual intimacy with somebody who is angry when you're a mellow person.
Huh? Dude, my sister hated it when I had sex with her, but it was for chi, so it's all
It
good.
could mean sexual intimacy with a man when you're a woman. So long as you're yin and they're yang, or vice versa, it works out. And by joining intercourse, yin and yang come together and strengthen both partners, which allows you to better understand the Tau.
I love when an anime is like, yeah, dude, also sex transfer. No, it's not homophobic. Listen, they could be 2 dudes having sex. It's just one has to be mellow and the other one has to be uptight, and boom, that's their yin yang there. Ho, ho. I know I'm making fun, but I actually like this idea. I actually do think that is good writing. It actually does fit with, the motif.
I shit you not, for Bochujutsu to work its best, you have to take your sexual partner's interests into mind, as by being accommodating to your sexual partner, you are tapping into their chi, or
Dude, that's actually really funny. It's like, I really don't want to eat ass, but she wants me to eat her ass. So by eating her ass, I am putting some of my yang into her yin right now, and it's all working.
So that's how you get Tau and Tau is. But what can you use Tau for? Well, kind of everything. See, Tau can be used for sensing, enhancing, erasing your presence, shooting off invisible projectiles. Really, if you wanted to.
Dude, there has to be some dojin of, we are doing Bocho Jutsu. I know you hate being humiliated. You don't have a humiliation fetish, so I'm gonna have to humiliate you so that You could get all turned on from my Tao.
to happen, it can happen with Tao. But let's dive more into the specifics here. See, Tao in the capacity of sensing operates very similar to Nen or Chakra, or really any power system in any anime ever. See, once a user awakens to the use of Tao, they gain a sixth sense, the ability to sense the Tao of those around them. And by
Dalai Lama, like, listen, I don't want to suck the tongue of a child, but for Tao.
tapping into this ability, the Tao user is able to see everything about this person, their body shape, if they're holding a weapon, their hairstyle. And because of this, people like Shion, who are blind, are still able to see everything around them, as everything on Earth has Tao, and therefore, if you're able to sense all of the Tao around
that's pretty basic. Like, I sensed his presence. That happens in everything ever.
See it. Tao operates a bit like echolocation, but more like sight than anything. But sensing Tao is substantially better than sight. You see, because sensing how
That's good, because I could see, and I don't have Tao.
Tao moves allows you to read the movements of others before they even possibly make them. Therefore, though practice in sensing Tao, are able to predict exactly where you're gonna attack, which makes it easy to dodge. On top of this, once you master sensing through Tao, you're able to see Tao weaknesses in other people, places where a person's Tao may be weaker than others.
So it's Sekiro. I'm sorry, I have to stop doing this.
So they're weak spots, places you can exploit with your own attacks. Outside of sensing, there's also enhancement, which is relatively obvious. Think of this a bit like Ko in Hunter x Hunter. And for those of you who aren't complete Hunter x Hunter nerds, think of it as Gon's Rock. By focusing all of your Tao into one place, you're able to make said place strong, much in the same way that Gon focuses all of his Nen into his fist, which is something that
I mean, that's everything. I feel like that's every power system ever. It's like I'm focused my energy. It's focused my chakra on my feet, so now I can walk on water. It's the same exact idea.
people like Shobei use. However, you can also funnel your Tao into a weapon, and weapons imbued with Tao, even if they don't.
You're just explaining hockey! This is armament hockey. Armament hockey is the one where you focus on this, and then the visual hockey is the freaking one where you focus on that and see the future. Dude! This isn't like some groundbreaking new power system.
Hit vital spots still do massive damage to enemies.
Although I do have to say, I really like the sex thing. I think that's really cool.
Forcibly entered into an enemy's body, which throws off their own Tao sight. However, imbuing a weapon with Tao is dangerous because you're separating your Tao, your life force, from your body. However, enhancement can also be used defensively. If you know you're about to be struck in a certain place, you can shift your Tao to there to harden that part of your body. Anime-only watchers have actually already seen this happen.
Yeah, that's why he was able to not get his head chopped off.
Gabimaru hardened the back of his neck, though he was doing it accidentally and without knowing that it was Tao. Further mastery.
Wait, he doesn't even know Tao exists? Oh, they're gonna have to go through this whole arc explaining the power system.
Tao allows you to pull off something in Hunter x Hunter referred to as Zetsu. See, those who have an insane mastery over their Tao are able to suppress their presence, and this is accomplished by suppressing your Tao to a level where you're not noticeable to those who can detect it.
So it's the same as every other
the kind of
anime.
non-instanting things that Tao can do. Let's talk about the
How many times have you heard in anime someone saying, impossible! He concealed his presence! How many times did you hear that?
Lord Tenzin love to turn their Tao into invisible projectiles. At least they're kind of invisible. See, Lord Tenzin turn their Tao into a projectile and fire it at enemies. Now, to those who can't sense Tao, this is invisible because you don't see Tao coming off me right now. However, if you do tap yourself into Tao and learn how to detect it, these are very visible projectiles.
I'd smash.
Which makes these projectiles incredibly deadly to those who haven't awoken to Tao, but kind of mundane to those who have. Outside of this, Tao users are also able to transmute their Tao into an element. Now, this usually manifests as ninjutsu, meaning that we only ever really see ninjas do it. One of the higher ranking entities on the island was able to turn their Tao into lightning. But by and large, we're talking about ninjutsu. And the most clear and obvious ninjutsu we've seen thus far is Gabimaru's penchant for fire, where Gabimaru is able to heighten the temperature of his body and light the oils on his skin on fire, which allows him to do things like light rocks on fire and throw them at people, or just spit fire. Now, for a long time, Gabimaru wasn't aware that this technique required Tao. He simply knew it as ninjutsu or ninpo. And the same could be said for Yuzuria's control over her bodily fluids.
Damn, I want to control some of her bodily fluids, if you know what I'm saying.
To drink certain potions that make her secrete different bodily fluids that she can control, which can give her the ability to make goo that traps people or create poisonous spider cages. Now, ninjutsu—
I was thinking of spider cages too. Totally.
Ninjutsu is a really, and I mean really rough version of Tao, as perfect usage of Tao simply focuses on using the Tao in—
I can control the nut in your balls right now. No!
Your body in precise and meaningful ways. That is to say, to not be wasteful with one's Tao. In fact, a user of Tao in a perfect situation shouldn't expend any Tao, really. But ninjutsu and ninpo use a ton of Tao. Therefore, those who use it burn through the Tao in their body very quickly, which has massive repercussions. One, it makes the recovery of your strength damn near impossible. Two, it can rob you of your memories. And three, it can rob you of humanity as a whole. It can go so far as to drain you of all of your life force, killing you instantly. And therefore, ninjutsu can pretty much accomplish anything that Tao can, but in a much rougher, less effective way. As we've seen ninjas with Hojutsu, the next thing we're going to be talking about. See, since Tao is in everything, Tao is also in the air. And therefore, one of the Lord Tenzin, who I'm not going to name because it's kind of a spoiler, is able to create footholds out of the air, allowing them to sit in the middle of the air.
You mean like everyone does in Bleach? Come on, man. The yin-yang concept is fire. I just wish they would have tied everything into it. I feel like that would have been so cool. I love the yin yang idea because it's different. It's interesting. It's finding a balance within yourself. But why is all the interpretations of it just things that everything else has done?
Through the usage of Tau, one of the Lord Tenzin has acquired levitation, something that we've seen from ninjas from Iwa in a much rougher sense. But since Tau is in everything and people are able to make footholds out of air Tau, does that mean that you can manipulate all of the elements around you if you're mastered enough in Tau?
Yes.
Yes, it absolutely does.
That's
See,
actually
complete
cool.
mastery
That's
over
fine.
Tau allows you to control all Tau, meaning you can control the Tau of every living and non-living being on Earth, giving you an ability much akin to psychokinesis. We've seen this ability used by Doshi to control insects to attack certain enemies, and by upper level Lord Tenzin to simply just crush people like they're using the Force.
That's pretty cool. That is cool. I like that because, again, if this anime is based on how Tau is essentially like a panpsychism, that God is within everything, and therefore you can control the godliness in everything, alive or dead, anything in existence. To be able to control the Tau within you would be the first level, but to be able to control all of the godliness in the power around you, I think that makes a lot of sense. You see, something like that fits really well in the power system, and I think that is incredibly cool. I think that's a really, really cool addition to the power system.
Able to master all of the Tau around them is also able to inflict elemental Tau onto the things around them. As the same Lord Tenzin who was able to crush somebody like they were using the Force is able to light incense from far away, or stop fire from rising, but can even go one step beyond this, becoming akin to alchemy in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where this psychokinesis user can create spikes out of the ground, using their mastery over Tau to control the Tau in the very ground. Not to mention that this very same Lord Tenzin
Let's go!
and also has the ability to clone themselves, making each of these synthetic clones out of flower Tau that they can control from a
Oh, it's wood clones again. Okay.
distance. And since each of these individual clones is made out of flower Tau, they're able to regenerate just like the original. And these
Oh, so it's wood. So it's wood clone. Oh, okay. It was wood clones. Cool. Hachirama cells.
clones have individual
Yin and Wang. True.
characteristics and free will. Lastly, and probably most rarely, we see Tau used to pull off illusions or genjutsu. And these genjutsu are
Oh, so it's genjutsu. I'm sorry.
are so complete that the user is able to tap into the 5 senses of the person they're manipulating.
See, but that's cool because the 5 senses of the person you're manipulating is also part of God, and it's also part of Tau. I like that. I think that's a really cool concept.
Making them see, taste, smell, see, and feel the genjutsu. Kind of everything. Obviously,
He moves his head a lot.
you can go into the fact that Senin level threats like the Doshi are able to transmute their body into their own element of sorts. It's shown that high level Tau users are able to use that psychokinesis to surround their bodies with the element that they prefer to use. The most specific circumstance we saw this with is when 2 Doshis surrounded their bodies with butterflies and centipedes, which gave them a pseudo final form, but it's unclear
That is the lamest final form I've ever heard in my life.
whether this is an application of the psychokinesis or an entirely separate thing. With that, that's pretty much everything. So as you can see by the length of this video, Tau is very complicated, yet very fleshed out and interesting. And while I tried not to spoil anything, and I feel as though I didn't really spoil
You did good. Now I know about these immortal flower people killing everyone, but aside from that, I'm blind.
anything that important, you should now have as comprehensive an understanding of Tau that you need heading into the Hell's Paradise anime. And hopefully with this comprehensive understanding of how the power system of the universe works, you get to enjoy the anime just that much more. Tell me guys, did I miss anything
appreciate
about
it.
Tau? Did you love our little lesson about Taoism and Buddhism?
I wanted you, so the one thing that I feel like I missed here, Weeb Commander, I would say is I can't really visualize that whole, whatever it was called, the sex Tau. I would really like it and appreciate it if you can act that out for me. Would it be okay to get a demonstration of how that sex Tau works? Like, cause you were like moving your hands and stuff when you were explaining the yin yang, and that helped a lot. But I would really appreciate if you helped out, help me visualize the sex Tau better in your next video. That would be great. That was a good video. I think he did a really good job. And you guys in chat, you've been giving him too much heat. Just because I'm making fun of him doesn't mean I have anything against him, okay? I make fun of everything. You should know that by now. That's literally what I do for a living. That was a good video. And I do think that it's an interesting power system.
Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.